Overthinking often begins quietly in the heart. A small worry grows into repeated thoughts, endless questions, and imagined outcomes that may never happen. Many people believe overthinking means they are being responsible or careful, but in reality, it usually comes from a deeper place: the struggle to fully trust Allah's control over life. When a person feels the need to analyze every possibility, predict every outcome, and mentally rehearse every scenario, it shows how difficult it is for the human mind to accept uncertainty. Yet uncertainty is part of Allah's design for this world. Human beings naturally want control. We want to know what will happen tomorrow, how our plans will succeed, and whether our efforts will lead to happiness. When things do not go according to expectation, the mind begins to race. Questions appear. What if I fail? What if this decision is wrong? What if everything goes badly? These thoughts create anxiety because they focus on outcomes beyond human power. Overthinking tries to solve problems that belong only to Allah. It places the weight of the unseen future onto limited human understanding. Trust in Allah, known as Tawakkul, changes this mindset completely. Tawakkul does not mean abandoning effort or becoming careless. Islam teaches believers to plan wisely, work sincerely, and take necessary action. However, after doing what is within human ability, the believer releases the result to Allah. Overthinking happens when a person continues to carry the burden even after making effort, refusing to hand over the outcome to the one who controls all affairs. When trust weakens, fear becomes louder. The heart starts believing that everything depends entirely on personal decisions. This creates pressure because humans are imperfect and limited. Every choice begins to feel heavy and every mistake feels catastrophic. But Allah reminds believers that He is Al-Hakim, the most wise, and nothing happens without His knowledge or permission. Understanding this allows the heart to relax. Life is not a test of perfect decision making. It is a test of faith, patience, and reliance. Overthinking also comes from attachment to specific results. People often decide exactly how success should look, how relationships should unfold, or how quickly goals should be achieved. When reality differs from expectation, the mind resists acceptance. The mind resists acceptance. It replays conversations, imagines alternative paths, and questions past decisions repeatedly. This mental struggle happens because the heart has placed its trust in personal planning instead of divine wisdom. Trusting Allah means believing that even unexpected outcomes carry hidden goodness. The Prophet Muhammad taught balance between action and reliance. A famous teaching explains that a believer should tie the camel first and then trust Allah. This wisdom shows that Islam encourages responsibility without anxiety. Overthinking ignores the second part of this lesson. A person may prepare carefully yet still remain restless, unable to sleep peacefully because the heart refuses to surrender control. True tawakkul begins when effort ends and acceptance begins. Another reason overthinking grows is fear of loss. Humans fear losing opportunities, relationships, status, or comfort. Shaitan often uses these fears to plant doubt, making individuals believe that everything will collapse if they do not constantly worry. Yet Allah's promise reassures believers that what is meant for them will never miss them, and what misses them was never written for them. Reflecting on this belief reduces the need to mentally chase every possibility. Trust in Allah transforms worry into calm action. Instead of asking endless what-if questions, the believer asks, have I done my best? Have I done my best? Once the answer is yes, the heart rests. Faith teaches that Allah's mercy is greater than human planning and His knowledge is deeper than human understanding. Even mistakes can become blessings when a person turns back to Allah with sincerity. Overthinking often disconnects a person from the present moment. The mind lives in imagining futures or regrets from the past, while the blessings of today remain unnoticed. Trust brings awareness back to the present, allowing gratitude to replace fear. When someone believes Allah is managing their affairs, they become more patient during delays and more humble during success. The heart finds stability when it remembers that Allah never abandons His servants. Difficult moments are not signs of neglect, but opportunities for growth, purification, and closeness to Him. Overthinking tries to force clarity before its time, while faith accepts that understanding sometimes comes later. Many situations that once caused deep worry eventually reveal hidden wisdom, proving that Allah's planning was always superior. Letting go of excessive thinking does not happen instantly. It requires constant remembrance of Allah, regular dua, and conscious effort to redirect thoughts whenever anxiety rises. Each time a believer replaces worry with trust, the heart becomes stronger. Gradually, reliance on Allah becomes natural rather than force. Peace begins to replace tension, and certainty replaces confusion. The believer learns that calmness is not created by controlling life, but by trusting the one who controls life completely. Life often presents challenges that feel overwhelming, leaving the heart heavy and the mind restless. People struggle to understand why things happen the way they do, why plans fail, or why dreams seem delayed. In these moments, it is easy to fall into despair or frustration, imagining that the situation is beyond hope. Yet the essence of faith lies in understanding that Allah's wisdom surpasses human perception. What appears as hardship or delay may, in reality, be a form of divine protection or preparation for a greater blessing. Human perspective is limited to the present moment, while Allah's knowledge encompasses the past, present, and future. This understanding transforms the way a believer views life, replacing anxiety with patience and surrender. When faced with difficulty, many people try to control outcomes through constant worry, overthinking, or repeated effort. While effort is important, over reliance on personal planning without trusting Allah leads to unnecessary stress. A believer learns that every circumstance, whether favorable or challenging, is part of Allah's plan. The key is to act with sincerity, then leave the results to Him. This approach nurtures inner peace because the heart no longer carries the burden of outcomes it cannot control. Trust in Allah is not passive, it is an active reliance that blends effort. It is an active reliance that blends effort with acceptance, striving with patience, and hope with submission. Life's uncertainties often cause fear of failure, rejection, or loss. These fears amplify when expectations are tightly attached to specific results. A person may envision a particular path to success, a certain response from others, or a precise timeline for achieving goals. When reality differs, anxiety arises, and the mind struggles to reconcile disappointment with desire. Faith teaches that Allah knows what is best for each individual. Sometimes a missed opportunity is a protection from harm, a delayed answer, a preparation for better circumstances, and a setback, a redirection toward a more suitable path. Recognizing this requires a conscious effort to surrender the heart's attachment to rigid expectations. Patience plays a central role in aligning the believer's heart with divine wisdom. Human beings naturally desire instant results, quick resolutions, and immediate satisfaction. Yet many of life's lessons unfold gradually, requiring endurance and steadfastness. The believer who waits with patience and trust understands that delays are not denials, but a part of Allah's perfect timing. What seems late in the eyes of humans may arrive precisely when it is most beneficial. Patience nurtures resilience, strengthens faith, and allows the heart to remain calm amid uncertainty, reinforcing the belief that Allah's plan is always superior to personal assumptions. Another source of distress is the tendency to compare oneself with others. Observing peers achieving success, gaining recognition, or receiving blessings can create envy and dissatisfaction. Comparison distracts the heart from recognizing its own journey and the unique timing Allah has decreed for each individual. Believers are reminded that every person's circumstances are tailored by divine wisdom. What someone else receives may not suit another's life, and what is delayed for one may be protection or preparation. Gratitude and contentment replace anxiety when the heart focuses on what Allah has provided and trusts in what He has withheld for a higher purpose. Dua serves as a powerful tool to transform worry into hope. Instead of dwelling on fears or imagining worst-case scenarios, turning to Allah in sincere prayer aligns the heart with divine guidance. Dua is an act of recognition that humans cannot control everything and that ultimate success and relief come from Allah alone. It shifts the focus from what is lacking to what can be sought through supplication, cultivating optimism, patience, and spiritual resilience. Repeatedly invoking Allah's help strengthens faith, reassures the heart, and diminishes the grip of fear over the mind. Overthinking often traps the believer in past regret. As of future anxieties, the mind replays mistakes, imagines alternate choices, and worries about outcomes that may never happen. This mental loop drains energy and diminishes clarity. Trust in Allah provides an escape from this cycle. Believers learn to act with intention, reflect on lessons from experience, and then release the outcome to divine wisdom. Acceptance does not imply weakness or passivity. It signifies strength, confidence, and reliance on a knowledge far greater than human understanding. This reliance allows the heart to remain calm, focused, and hopeful despite uncertainty. Surrendering to Allah's plan fosters a deep sense of peace. When the heart stops resisting reality and begins to trust in divine wisdom, fear, frustration, and impatience gradually fade. The believer becomes more patient with delays, more resilient in hardships, and more grateful for blessings. Life's challenges are no longer viewed as threats, but as opportunities for growth, reflection, and spiritual closeness. Understanding that Allah's plan surpasses personal planning enables the believer to navigate difficulties with composure, hope, and unwavering trust, knowing that what Allah has destined is always in their ultimate best interest. Knowing that what Allah has destined is always in their ultimate best interest. A woman standing alone in life can feel an immense weight of responsibility and uncertainty. Society often emphasizes dependence on others, whether it be family, friends, or colleagues, but true strength emerges when a person learns that ultimate support comes from Allah alone. When no one else is present to guide, protect, or comfort, the heart often faces fear, doubt, and loneliness. Yet this is precisely the moment when a believer discovers the depth of Allah's mercy, wisdom, and sufficiency. Relying on Allah alone does not signify weakness. Rather, it reveals a level of trust and faith that transforms adversity into spiritual growth and inner awe. Resilience. Many people struggle with feelings of inadequacy when alone. They wonder how they will face challenges without guidance, how they will make decisions without advice, or how they will endure hardship without emotional support. The natural response is often to seek validation, reassurance, or solutions from others. But these sources can be unreliable, human support can falter, opinions can mislead, and intentions can conflict. A woman who learns to rely solely on Allah experiences a sense of freedom that comes from knowing her sustenance, guidance, and protection do not depend on anyone but her Creator. This reliance builds a foundation that is unshakable no matter the external circumstances. Loneliness in life can be daunting, but it provides a unique opportunity for self-reflection and spiritual growth. When distractions and external influences are minimized, the heart can focus more fully on connection with Allah. The silence of being alone becomes a space for remembrance, prayer, and contemplation. Every challenge faced independently becomes a test of faith, and every decision made with reliance on Allah strengthens trust in His wisdom. Over time, a woman learns that her inner strength is not measured by the presence of others, but by her ability to seek Allah's guidance in every situation. Life often presents situations where human support is absent, whether due to betrayal, loss, distance, or circumstances beyond control. In such moments, relying solely on Allah becomes essential. A woman may face emotional pain, financial difficulties, or social challenges, and while she may feel vulnerable, she can draw strength from the understanding that Allah's knowledge encompasses everything. He sees what is hidden, knows what is best, and provides solutions in ways that humans may not immediately perceive. This awareness replaces fear with confidence, uncertainty with hope, and weakness with spiritual empowerment. Relying on Allah alone also cultivates patience and contentment. Human expectations can lead to disappointment when others fail to meet them, but Allah never disappoints His servants. When a woman learns to place her trust entirely in Allah, she experiences peace even amidst hardship. Her heart prays with conviction. Her heart does not cling to fleeting assurances from people, but rests in the eternal certainty of Allah's wisdom and mercy. This perspective transforms challenges into opportunities for growth, trials into lessons of perseverance, and solitude into a sanctuary of spiritual intimacy. Many women encounter societal intimacy. Many women encounter societal pressure to depend on others for validation, decision-making, or emotional support. Yet Islam encourages believers to cultivate independence balanced with faith. True empowerment arises when a woman recognizes that her relationship with Allah is the most important source of guidance and strength. By turning to Him in every matter, she finds clarity in confusion, courage in confusion, courage in fear, and resilience in adversity. Every obstacle becomes a chance to strengthen faith, and every moment alone becomes an opportunity to deepen reliance on Allah. Faith also teaches that no situation is permanent and that every challenge carries potential blessings. A woman who experiences isolation or difficulty may initially feel fear or sadness, but through reliance on Allah, she begins to see the hidden wisdom in these circumstances. What may seem like weakness or limitation becomes a catalyst for spiritual growth, self-discovery, and increased reliance on Allah's sufficiency. She learns to view life's trials not as punishments, but as opportunities to cultivate patience, gratitude, and deeper connection with her Creator. The journey of relying solely on Allah requires conscious effort and trust. It is not always easy, especially when societal norms or personal fears encourage dependence on others. However, every act of turning to Allah reinforces faith, strengthens the heart, and provides an inner stability that no human relationship can offer. A woman who embraces this principle gradually discovers a profound sense of empowerment, peace, and spiritual clarity that comes from knowing that the one who controls the universe is her ultimate protector, provider, and guide. In learning to rely on Allah alone, a woman develops resilience that withstands external pressures, wisdom that guides her through complex decisions, and patience that allows her to endure life's tests with dignity. Her life becomes a testimony that true sufficiency does not come from wealth, status, or people, but from unwavering faith in Allah's plan and provision. Challenges no longer intimidate her, loneliness no longer frightens her, and uncertainty no longer overwhelms her, because she has discovered the unshakable truth that Allah alone is sufficient for every need, every fear, and every aspiration. Letting go of people, situations, or plans can feel like one of the hardest things a person will ever do. Human nature clings to what feels familiar, secure, or desirable, even when holding on causes pain or prevents growth. Many times, we spend years worrying, strategizing, and attempting to control outcomes, believing that our way is best. But Allah's wisdom surpasses human understanding, and what He removes or delays in our lives is often a blessing in disguise. Letting go is not about weakness or resignation. It is about trusting that Allah's plan is greater than our own, and that He knows what is truly best for us. When a person clings to a situation, it may be out of fear of the unknown. Fear whispers that without this job, relationship, or opportunity, life will be incomplete. Overthinking magnifies the consequences of letting go, guiding every worst case scenario while overlooking the possibilities that Allah may be preparing. Human perception is limited, and what seems like a loss may be a redirection towards something far better. The believer learns that true security comes not from circumstances, but from placing trust in Allah's plan. One of the key aspects of letting go is realizing that not everything is meant for us. People, no matter how close, can only support or guide us to a certain extent. Situations, no matter how ideal they seem, may not lead to long-term benefit. By holding on to what is not meant for us, we may miss out on blessings that are hidden or delayed. Allah's plan works in ways that the human mind cannot always predict. Sometimes what appears as rejection or failure is protection, a way to prevent future harm or regret. Understanding this allows the heart to release attachment without resentment. Emotional attachment often makes letting go challenging. When someone has invested time, energy, or love into a person or goal, detaching can feel like betrayal or loss. However, reliance on Allah teaches that attachment should be rooted in faith rather than mere circumstance. When the heart trusts that Allah knows what is best, it can release burdens gracefully, understanding that removal is a form of mercy and preparation for what is to come. Letting go is an act of faith that demonstrates belief in Allah's wisdom and timing. Overthinking can trap the mind in endless cycles of what ifs and if onlys. It creates doubt, frustration, and anxiety about situations that are no longer within one's control. Islam teaches that a believer should take action where possible, make effort with sincerity, and then leave the outcome to Allah. By surrendering the result, the mind finds relief and the heart experiences peace. Letting go is a conscious decision to trust Allah's plan to stand. Stop trying to control every detail and to accept that some things are beyond human influence. Patience is a companion to letting go. When the heart releases attachment, it must still endure uncertainty, waiting for Allah's guidance and provision. The believer learns that delays, changes, and unexpected outcomes are part of a divine plan that unfolds gradually. Impatience leads to frustration, but patience strengthens faith, allowing the heart to navigate life with hope rather than anxiety. Allah's timing is perfect, and what arrives late may arrive exactly when it is most needed. Dua is a vital tool during the process of letting go. Instead of obsessing over the past or fearing the future, turning to Allah in sincere prayer provides clarity, comfort, and guidance. Every dua acknowledges that Allah is the ultimate planner, the source of provision, and the protector of hearts. When a person releases worry and entrusts matters to Him, the burden of control shifts, creating space for peace and renewed strength. Faith in Allah transforms letting go from a moment of loss into an act of spiritual empowerment. Letting go also encourages self-reflection and growth. When a person detaches from circumstances that no longer serve them, they have the opportunity to focus on personal development, spiritual connection, and meaningful goals. Human plans are limited, but Allah's vision encompasses all possibilities. By embracing His wisdom, a believer aligns their life with a higher purpose, understanding that setbacks, delays, and removals are often preparation for greater success or deeper fulfillment. Clinging to the past can prevent a person from seeing new opportunities. Holding on to disappointment, heartbreak, or missed chances keeps the heart tied to what no longer serves its growth. Letting go opens the door to new experiences, relationships, and blessings that Allah has prepared. While the mind may resist change, the heart that trusts in Allah's plan discovers freedom, resilience, and hope. Releasing control is an expression of faith, a way to demonstrate that belief in Allah's wisdom is stronger than fear of the unknown. Ultimately, letting go is a lesson in reliance, patience, and trust. The heart learns that happiness, peace, and success are not guaranteed by human effort alone, but by surrendering to Allah's plan. Every moment of detachment is an opportunity to strengthen faith, embrace patience, and cultivate hope for the future. When a person lets go with sincere trust in Allah, they align themselves with divine wisdom, finding that what follows may exceed anything they could have planned or imagined. Not sharing every detail of your personal life can feel counterintuitive in a world that constantly encourages openness, but wisdom lies in knowing what to reveal and what to protect. Many people believe that sharing everything builds trust, strengthens relationships, or prevents misunderstandings. Yet oversharing often exposes vulnerabilities, creates unnecessary judgment, and invites complications that could have been avoided. Islam teaches the importance of discretion, self-protection, and thoughtful communication, showing that some knowledge and experiences are meant to remain private. Learning to keep certain matters to oneself is not secrecy for the sake of hiding, but a conscious choice that preserves dignity, peace of mind, and focus on what truly matters. Human nature gravitates toward discussion, advice, and validation. When faced with challenges, emotions, or ambitions, it is tempting to tell everyone who will listen. We want guidance, support, or confirmation that our choices are correct. However, the more we share, the more our energy disperses, and the less control we have over how others perceive, interpret, or are. People often respond with opinions, judgments, or unsolicited criticism, which can complicate situations instead of helping. Over time, oversharing can erode confidence, create misunderstandings, and even lead to betrayal when sensitive information is shared with those who do not have pure intentions. Learning discretion requires understanding that not every problem or thought needs external validation. Turning inward and seeking guidance from Allah first ensures that decisions are rooted in faith, wisdom, and patience rather than external influence. When the heart relies on Allah rather than public approval, it cultivates independence, clarity, and strength. Challenges become personal lessons, and achievements remain meaningful because they are measured by sincerity and intention, not by recognition from others. Protecting one's personal life allows space for reflection, growth, and spiritual focus without interference or distraction. Many situations in life can be complicated by unnecessary disclosure. Relationships, business matters, family conflicts, or personal struggles are vulnerable to misinterpretation when shared with those who do not fully understand the context. Even well-intentioned advice can mislead if it is not informed by full knowledge of the situation. Islam emphasizes that prudence in speech and confidentially can prevent harm, maintain trust, and preserve the heart from worry and regret. By choosing carefully what to share, a person protects not only themselves but also those involved in the situation. Overthinking often accompanies the decision to share or withhold information. People may worry that by keeping things private, they are missing help or support. They may fear isolation or judgment for not being transparent. Yet Islam reminds believers that true help comes from Allah and that the most important guidance is divine, not human. By turning to prayer, reflection, and consultation with those who are trustworthy and wise, a person can navigate life's challenges without the need to disclose every personal detail. This approach reduces stress, strengthens resilience, and nurtures inner peace. Keeping personal matters private also cultivates humility and prevents arrogance. When people share every success, plan, or insight, it can inadvertently create pride, comparison, or unnecessary competition. Privacy allows achievements and struggles to remain measured by sincerity rather than social recognition. The heart becomes content with Allah's knowledge of one's actions and intentions, and this contentment is more valuable than praise or approval from people who may not fully understand or appreciate the situation. A significant benefit of discretion is protection from emotional harm. Human reactions can be unpredictable, and some individuals may exploit shared information for selfish purposes. Oversharing creates vulnerability that may be used against a person in the future, whether through gossip, judgment, or criticism. By learning to share selectively, a person safeguards not only their reputation but also their mental and emotional well-being. This is particularly important in times of difficulty, where emotional stability is essential for decision-making, spiritual growth, and personal development. Discretion also teaches the value of self-control and intentional communication. It is a form of wisdom that requires awareness of timing, context, and audience. Choosing to remain silent or speak selectively demonstrates maturity, foresight, and trust in Allah's plan. It shows that the person does not need constant validation or external interference to navigate life successfully. Instead, they rely on their faith, judgment, and thoughtful decision-making, ultimately keeping personal matters private. 8 strengthens faith, patience, and resilience. It allows the heart to focus on growth, learning, and connection with Allah rather than being consumed by external opinions or pressures. By discerning what to share and what to hold back, a person cultivates clarity, maintains dignity, and protects their energy. Life becomes more manageable, relationships more sincere, and decisions more purposeful when the heart understands that some things are meant to remain between oneself and Allah. Every moment of restraint reinforces trust in divine wisdom and demonstrates that spiritual strength is often found in the quiet discipline of discretion. Overthinking is a struggle that many people face daily, and it often arises from the desire to control outcomes that are ultimately beyond human power. When a person attempts to plan every detail of their life, anticipate every obstacle, and imagine every possible scenario, the mind becomes overwhelmed. Anxiety grows, sleep is disturbed, and the heart becomes restless. The truth is that human understanding is limited, and while effort is necessary, the result is always in Allah's hands. Learning to stop overthinking is not about abandoning responsibility. It is about recognizing that Allah's plan is far greater and wiser than anything we could devise. Many individuals mistakenly believe that constant worrying or replaying events will help them prevent mistakes or achieve better outcomes. They convince themselves that careful analysis and repeated reflection are forms of diligence. Yet, overthinking often produces the opposite effect: confusion, doubt, and delayed action. When the mind becomes trapped in endless loops of what ifs and if onlys, energy is drained, opportunities are missed, and the heart becomes heavy. Islam teaches that true effort is combined with trust in Allah. A believer should act wisely, make sincere decisio, and then leave the outcome to Him, knowing that He controls everything with perfect wisdom. Human plans are inherently limited because humans do not see the unseen. We cannot predict every consequence or foresee every obstacle. What appears as a setback, delay, or disappointment may actually be a blessing in disguise. A job lost today could lead to a better opportunity tomorrow. A failed relationship might redirect someone toward a healthier and more fulfilling connection. Allah's perspective encompasses the past, present, and future simultaneously, and His decisions are made with complete knowledge of what is best. Accepting this truth allows the heart to release the burden of overthinking and replace fear with trust. Overthinking often arises from attachment to specific outcomes. People want things to happen exactly as they imagine. The timing, the people involved, the manner in which events unfold. When reality deviates from this vision, anxiety sets in, and the mind resists acceptance. Trusting Allah requires the heart to recognize that His plan is superior and that deviations from personal expectation are not failures but divine adjustments. What may seem like a delay may be protection, what seems like a loss may be gained, and what seems like a rejection may be guidance towards something far better. Patience is essential in learning to stop overthinking. The human mind desires immediate clarity and control, yet life's path unfolds according to divine wisdom, not human urgency. Patience is not passive waiting. It is a conscious state of trusting Allah while continuing to act sincerely and responsibly. It is the ability to accept that results are delayed for reasons beyond one's perception and to understand that timing is part of Allah's perfect plan. This perspective transforms anxiety into hope, doubt into faith, and frustration into contentment. Dua plays a crucial role in redirecting the mind away from overthinking. Instead of repeatedly analyzing situations, the believer turns to Allah in prayer, seeking guidance, strength, and clarity. This act of submission acknowledges that ultimate control rests with Him and that human knowledge is limited. Dua also brings inner peace, as speaking directly to Allah and entrusting matters to Him removes the weight of constant mental calculations. The heart finds comfort in the realization that the one who controls the universe is fully aware of personal struggles and desires the best outcome for His servants. Another source of overthinking is the fear of failure or loss. Humans naturally fear the unknown, rejection, and disappointment, and this fear can spiral into obsessive thought patterns. Islam teaches that fear should be balanced with faith, knowing that what is decreed for a person will reach them, and what is withheld was never meant for them. By understanding this, the mind can stop chasing every possibility and instead focus on sincere effort while trusting in Allah's plan. Over time, this practice builds resilience, reduces anxiety, and nurtures a peaceful heart. Living in the present moment is also an essential part of reducing overthinking. Excessive focus on past mistakes or future uncertainties distracts from today's opportunities and blessings. Islam encourages gratitude and mindfulness, reminding believers that every moment is a gift and that every step forward is guided by Allah's wisdom. When a person cultivates awareness of the present, they reduce unnecessary mental burden, strengthen reliance on Allah, and experience contentment even amidst uncertainty. Ultimately, stopping overthinking is about surrendering control while maintaining responsibility. It is about recognizing that Allah's knowledge surpasses human understanding and that His plan is always better than our own. When a believer acts sincerely, prays consistently, and trusts completely, the mind becomes calmer, the heart grows stronger, and life's challenges transform into lessons of patience, faith, and resilience. This approach allows the believer to move forward with confidence, knowing that their best effort combined with reliance on Allah will always yield the most beneficial outcome. Life often presents situations where things do not go as planned, and this can be deeply discouraging. A person may work tirelessly, make careful decisions, and hope for success only to face rejection, delay, or unexpected obstacles. It is natural to feel frustrated or anxious when outcomes differ from expectations. Yet, in Islam, such moments are never meaningless. When life says no, it is often a sign that Allah is guiding His servant towards something better, something that aligns with a higher wisdom that may not yet be visible. Understanding this principle requires patience, trust, and faith in Allah's divine plan. Humans are limited in perception. We see only a small portion of the path ahead and interpret events through the lens of our desires and expectations. What appears as failure or denial may actually be a form of protection, preventing harm that the mind cannot foresee. A closed opportunity, a delayed goal, or a rejected request can serve as a redirection toward a more suitable path. Allah's knowledge encompasses all outcomes, and His decisions are made with perfect wisdom. Accepting that a no may be part of a larger plan transforms disappointment into hope and confusion into understanding. Overthinking often accompanies moments when life says no. The mind begins to replay past actions, analyze mistakes, and imagine alternative outcomes. This cycle of mental exhaustion can obscure clarity and increase stress. Islam teaches that a believer should act with sincerity, make reasonable efforts, and then leave the outcome to Allah. Over-analyzing beyond this point does not change the result and only burdens the heart. Trust in Allah allows a person to release unnecessary worry, knowing that the rejection or delay is part of His greater plan. Patience is central when facing life's refusals. Waiting is not passive, it is an active demonstration of faith, a recognition that Allah's timing is perfect and that every delay has purpose. Impatience may lead to rash decisions, while patience cultivates wisdom, resilience, and spiritual strength. A believer who endures setbacks with faith learns to navigate life with clarity and confidence, understanding that immediate gratification is not always in one's best interest and that divine timing often surpasses human expectation. When life says no, it is also an opportunity for self-reflection and growth. Each rejection provides insight into personal strengths, weaknesses, and areas needing improvement. By evaluating circumstances with honesty and humility, a person can develop better strategies, improve skills, and refine character. Challenges are not punishments. They are lessons meant to prepare the believer for future success and to strengthen reliance on Allah. This mindset transforms perceived setbacks into stepping stones for personal and spiritual development. Dua is a vital response when encountering life's refusals. Turning to Allah in sincere supplication brings comfort, guidance, and reassurance. Prayer reinforces the understanding that ultimate control rests with Him and that His wisdom is greater than any human plan. It also shifts focus from frustration toward constructive action, encouraging the believer to continue striving with faith while surrendering the outcome to Allah. This balance of effort and reliance is the key to maintaining hope even in difficult circumstances. Fear of loss and disappointment often exacerbates the pain of life. Saying no, humans naturally fear the unknown and cling to outcomes they desire. This attachment can intensify anxiety and create resistance to divine guidance. Islam teaches that what is decreed for a person will reach them, and what is withheld was never meant to be theirs. By internalizing this principle, the heart learns to accept rejection with gratitude, recognizing that Allah's decisions are always rooted in wisdom, protection, and unseen benefit. Another aspect of this principle is the cultivation of humility and reliance. When desires are unmet, humans are reminded of their dependence on Allah. Success and failure are not solely products of personal effort. They are intertwined with divine will. This perspective fosters humility, gratitude, and trust. The believer understands that life's outcomes are not random or unfair, but deliberate and purposeful, designed to test faith, strengthen character, and guide toward ultimate good. Over time, repeated experiences of life saying no teach resilience. Each closed door, postponed goal, or denied request becomes a lesson in surrender, patience, and trust. The heart gradually learns that setbacks are not signs of inadequacy, but indications that Allah's plan is operating beyond immediate perception. Faith grows stronger, decision making becomes wiser, and reliance on Allah deepens. Life disappointments transform from moments of despair into opportunities for spiritual and personal empowerment. Ultimately, understanding that Allah says yes even when life says no provides peace and clarity. It allows the believer to act sincerely, persevere with determination, and accept outcomes without frustration. Trust in Allah ensures that no setback is wasted, no rejection is final, and no closed door prevents eventual progress. The believer learns that every no carries hidden benefit, every delay contains wisdom, and every disappointment may be a gateway to a greater blessing.